everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's KidLad404, and this time I thought I would do a Pokemon video. Now, over the past couple of years, I've loved and enjoyed to play the latest Pokemon game, namely on the 3DS console. I've loved to play, the latest Pokemon game, make videos, and just have a good time making videos and conversing and meeting new people on my channel. In fact, I think, Pokemon X and Y back in 2013, that kind of signified the largest growth on my channel during that time, and I feel I've let a lot of people down by not having any Pokemon content on this channel. And part of that is because last year we didn't have a Pokemon game. In 2013 we had X and Y, in 2014 we had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but in 2015 we didn't have any core Pokemon game on 3DS. Sure, we got some announcement, a confirmation of Pokemon Go for mobile, which is great, but that's coming in 2016. It's just news, it's not an actual game, right? So we were kind of left out in 2015, and I was kind of left out in terms of content to create for Pokemon in 2015, and so that was kind of a bummer for me. And I feel like we have to expect that, I guess, in some sense, right? We can't always expect to have a Pokemon game or something kind of new to look at every 2 months or every month or something like that, very periodic, right? So that I could do videos about that. I have to kind of get creative and find other ways to do Pokemon content that maybe isn't necessarily related to like the latest Pokemon game, which might already be a year old. You know what I'm saying? I have to constantly kind of innovate and try to find interesting Pokemon topics or videos to talk about. And I feel like that's what I'm kind of the direction that I'm going to go into now with Pokemon, with hopefully so-called Pokemon fans that are still on this YouTube channel today. We're going to be doing commentaries. We're going to be talking about Pokemon in general, different things about Pokemon, the new games, maybe even speculation. That's what I want to talk about today, is Pokemon Z. Even though it's not been confirmed and whatever, I still want to talk about a potential Pokemon Z and what that might mean for this channel and what I'm looking forward to in the game. So just talking about Pokemon is all I want to do now. I think it's much better to do commentaries and talk about Pokemon as opposed to like, okay, let's play an older Pokemon game, let's do the whole playthrough. I'm not sure that that's entertaining, and I'm not sure that people want to watch that. But what I am kind of excited about is to get my own personal thoughts on Pokemon news, Pokemon rumors, etc., and do commentaries rather than do a playthrough of a game. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And starting today with talking about potential of Pokemon Z. Now, I'm an American in North America. I say Z. I know different people around the world say Z as Z or whatever. I'm gonna say Z because I'm used to it. Okay. So Pokemon Z. 3 questions that I want to talk, or 3 talking points that I want to talk about for Pokemon Z. Is it gonna come out? And if it is gonna come out, when is it gonna come out? And then finally, the top thing that I want to see changed, or I'm looking forward to in Pokemon Z. So, is this game going to be coming out, Pokemon Z? I would want to believe yes, because past history has shown that for every core Pokemon game, the brother-sister game, year later, or whatever have you, it always comes out. A third sibling comes out, a third game. Even in the past example, right, in Gen 5, Black, White, we had Black 2, White 2. Not necessarily Pokemon Gray, but still kind of a sequel, kind of more Pokemon games, kind of a patch or, supplementation to the original Pokemon games in Gen 5. They made a follow-up for those games. I feel like that follow-up will happen for Gen 6. We have X, Y, then we'll have Z for sure. I think that's what's going to happen. Past history says it, so I believe that. I have a gut feeling, a really good gut feeling, and I'm sure everybody does, that Pokemon Z will for sure happen. Now, I also believe that because they didn't do something in 2015, they had to be working on something. And I feel like maybe Game Freak, I don't know if Game Freak actually, I have to research it. I don't know if they're directly involved with developing Pokemon Go. I think Nintendo might have actually kind of licensed it out to a different company to work on. But I still feel like Game Freak has to have been doing something. And even if they had some work in Pokemon Go, I still think they would have kind of split their resources and focused on the next Pokemon game. And I think the most obvious one would be Pokemon Z. So Game Freak hasn't kind of come out with anything in 2015. Maybe that Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, maybe, but I don't think a lot of development time is necessary to complete that game. So Game Freak has to be doing something. I'm guessing it is going to be in 2016 that they have been working on Pokemon Z, and in some time we're going to be getting that game in 2016. Now, the next talking point is when. When are we going to be getting Pokemon Z if it does indeed come out? And I feel, my sort of guess, my sort of estimate, if I had to guess when it would come out in 2016, I would want to say late August. kind of earlier just to fill that gap a little bit sooner, because again, this is going to be a year and counting where we don't have a Pokemon game. It might even come out in the summer, I think, but I think my guess would be in August, and I think that would be a good time to play a new Pokemon game. I don't know, it kind of feels good to play it at the end of the year. You know, going into Christmas, they can always have that momentum going into the Christmas season, so that, you know, they can kind of advertise it and get parents to buy Pokemon Z, the latest update to X and Y. You know, that sort of works there. So I feel like that's my guess right there. Maybe you can kind of give your own guess, but I think late August is when Pokemon Z would possibly come. And then finally, the top thing that I would like to change, or the, you know, we always see updates, different things that are changed in the third game, right? So the top thing that I would want to see most change from X and Y in Z would definitely be the storyline. Now, just a quick reminder, in Pokemon X and Y, we have the star Pokemon, right? The main legendaries in those games, Xerneas and Yveltal, and they represent life and death. That's kind of the theme of this game: creation, destruction. Xerneas is kind of the good side of things, and Yveltal is kind of like a symbol of death, right? And so I want to know what the Z Pokemon, Zygarde, right? That extra legendary that starts with Z. I want to know how they're going to weave the story so that Zygarde, like, what is he going to be doing in Pokemon Z? And usually what happens is that the Z Pokemon, the third Pokemon, the third main legendary, kind of is above, you know, takes over, is the masters of the original two legendaries, right? And so that's what happened in the past. I wonder how Zygarde is going to come into the story and say, you know, how do I conquer both life and death? How am I above them? You know, in what way am I going to be achieving that? And in what way are they going to be changing the story with Zygarde? And so I think that's going to be really interesting to see the story, especially with big topics. I mean, these are like philosophical topics, life and death. How can Zygarde be a master and conquer both life and death? How is he above both of them? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be really interesting. And so that's it. That's the first Pokemon commentary. It's kind of different than what I've, you know, Pokemon videos that I've done in the past on this channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I kind of liked it to think of like topics to talk about, and I guess I'll see you the next time I think of something to talk about, or maybe even sooner than you think, if there is news and rumors that are worth talking about on this channel. Like if they come up during the week, then you'll be sure to know that I will be covering them and making videos about them, because I think they're all interesting. So thank you and have a good day. Peace. I'll see you next time.